Hello again, I'm back with another Unity tip. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a screen shake effect in Unity. To show you what we're going to be doing, when I click, as you can see we have a nice little screen shake effect, and it even fades out over time. So that's what we're going to be creating. Here's the code for it. Basically we're going to be recreating this. New screen shake. So start by making a new script. I'm going to call mine new screen shake. You might just call yours screen shake because I assume this is the first screen shake you're making. So I'm just going to be going over line by line from my screen shake and show you what each thing does. So let's start with the variables. So first we have a few public variables, and these are going to be pretty much up for you to decide, except for player. This is going to be your player, obviously, but the rest of these, amplitude is how heavily it shakes, like how far back and forth it goes, while frequency is how quickly it shakes, and then the time is how long it shakes for. Next up, we're going to have some working variables. Oh, what the heck? Hold on. Okay. We're going to have some working variables, basically variables that we're going to change within the code. We have the current shake time, the current shake angle. You can call these variables whatever you want to. As well as, so we're going to have one variable to hold where the camera should be, and another variable to hold an offset from that position that is caused by the shaking of the camera. So now we're going to go right into our update function. And the first thing we're going to do is simply set the camera position. So in this case, I'm just going to be setting it to the player position. In your game, you might have it like smoothly follow the player or whatever you want to do if you have some fancy thing for your camera, but since that's not what the tutorial is about, I'm just going to set it to be equal to the player position, except for the Z coordinate because this is 2D. Next up, so if the current shake time is greater than 0, that means we're shaking. And I'm going to skip over these two lines and start with this. So first of all, we're going to be subtracting from the current shake time every frame, so that way the timer goes down over time. And then next we want to get a float that is the percentage of, so this is basically, this variable will go from 1 to 0 throughout the time. So like if shake time was 2 and current shake time was 1, this would be equal to 0.5 because half of the time. And then if current shake time was 0, then shake time would be, and shake time was 2, then it would be 0. You get the idea. And then here's the real meat of it. I'm going to replace this with vector2.write for now. So basically, this shake offset is going to be set to, first of all, a right unit vector, so 1, 0, 0, that's what that is equal to. Next, that's going to be multiplied by a scalar, which is the sine of pi times percent. I'm just multiplying it by pi in order to normalize it for sine. So times the percent, so this is the current timer, the current time normalized from 0 to 1, and then multiply that by the frequency. So what this is going to do is basically this is going to be going down throughout the shake, and as it goes down, because this is a sine, it's going to create a little wave effect as a sine wave will, which is what we want. And then we're going to multiply that times the amplitude, which is, as we said, how far back and forth it goes. So if this was sine of -1 to 1, we might make it sine of negative, we might make it into -5 to 5 and have the wave be bigger. and then multiply it by percent. Now the reason we're multiplying it by percent at the end, this is actually optional. You don't necessarily have to do this, but if you want to, what this will do is it will make the sine wave kind of dither out over time. So that way it kind of smooths back into being stationary. So that's optional. It's up to you if you want that. I tend to prefer it because I think it looks nice. So we're going to leave that for now. I'm going to get back... goddamn. I'm going to get back to these two lines in a second, but first we're going to make this more simple shake. So we're going to be setting the position equal to the cam position, which we set earlier, plus the shake offset, which is what we set here. So it's going to be set to, this is basically the player's position, and then plus some offset, which is what it's being shooken by. And finally, we're just going to make it, so usually you'd probably make it be like, oh, if you got hit by an enemy, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to make it be when you click the mouse button, it's going to shake, and the shake function, super simple. If you wanted to, you could have the shake function take in variables for the amplitude and stuff, but for this I'm just going to have it be setting the current shake time to shake time, and that's what starts the shake. And so let's just try that first. Oh. So remove my previous shake and put on the new screen shake. New and improved. So you're going to want to put the player into the transform here and then set these variables to whatever you want. With the scale of my game, these values seem to work, but you might want to change them if the shake isn't to your liking. So now if I shake, so as you can see with this shake, you'll notice it's a little bit different. This one is only going left and right, and that's because of those two lines I mentioned earlier. So this might just be what you want. For a lot of games, this is sufficient. So that's why I did this first. But if you want a more rotational shake, you can add these two lines. This will give it a kind of a more crazy type of shake, but it could also make people nauseous if it's a little bit too extreme. So just be careful. So what we're going to do is, basically what these two lines are doing is, first of all, it's got a float that is the current angle, and it's just going to be increasing that over time, times 200, because it's an angle. So if we make it times 360, it'll go around in 1 second. And then we're going to be creating a variable called shake direction, which is basically going to take the right unit vector and rotate it times the angle. That's what this big thing is. So it's doing quaternion.euler, and then vector3.forward means it's only going to affect the z axis, which is what we want for 2D rotation. We only want to rotate in the z axis. And it's going to multiply that by the angle to give us the correct rotation. Actually, let me just... This is going to... This more clearly shows what's going on here. So it's basically just doing this. It's rotating it by the angle in the z axis, and it's multiplying it by right. Setting that to the shake direction. Now, what you want to do, if you want to use this, is replace vector2.right here with shake direction, the current shake direction. And now, if we play the game, oh, maybe, okay. As you can see, it has a little rotation. And to give you an idea of what those values do, we can play with them here. So say if we wanted to give it a crazy amplitude, as you see, that makes it go really out of control. And if we make the frequency like really low, it'll go like really slow, which is not great. It's probably gonna make people nauseous. I tend to go for a low amplitude, high frequency. That tends to work best in my opinion. It creates a nice little vibration type thing. It really depends on you and your preference, and your player's preference. Try a few different things, see what people like. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, etc. We are a indie game company, and we create these videos as a way to try to reach out to our audience. Be sure to comment any requests if you have something that you don't know about Unity and would like to start knowing. Ask me, and I might teach it to you.